Greetings to all. Welcome to AWS training sessions. Srinivas here. So today is the second demo come live session. Thanks for all your joining to session. So let's start just introduction about what about this batch. So you join this batch 356 weekend batch. This batch is going to conduct on every Saturday and Sunday. So total duration of this batch is 15 days. 15 days in the sense 15 weekends plus or minus. So Saturday and Sunday. Every weekend it is going to conduct 2 hours, like starting from 6 p.m. IST to 8 p.m. IST. So according to the session continuation, it may extend 5 or 10 minutes plus or minus. So every weekend, 2 hour session. So total 15 weekends. And about general information about this is a final demo session. The same live session is treated as a first two sessions as a free sessions to attend without any payment. So next session onwards, that is a third session onwards, whoever going to complete the payment, they will get a separate Zoom link to continue this live sessions. So this yesterday one session is successfully completed, and today second session live session. It is not a uh, demo purpose session. The same live session presenting as a demo as well to understand how the training module is going on. Okay, so first two recording session already yesterday session already published in YouTube for your friends review, and you can understand how the training is going on. And today's session as well, the session will be uploaded to YouTube and that will be shared on WhatsApp community. If any one of you not part of WhatsApp community as of now, please be part of WhatsApp community. It is very much important to get a regular updates about this batch. You may be part of other WhatsApp community, but to be part of this specific batch WhatsApp community is important to get a regular updates. If you are not getting information, so please connect to logiclabstech.com, www.logiclabstech.com, wherein you can click on upcoming batches details, wherein you can find details about this specific batch, and you can find WhatsApp community link and course content details as well. Not only this particular batch, any upcoming batch, those details you can find under this upcoming batch details. You just click log into the top www.logiclabstech.com, wherein you can find upcoming batches details, and you can find this particular batch information and the payment link as well. Even admin team is going to post payment link information in WhatsApp community and YouTube. Once it is uploaded to YouTube, they will share the link on WhatsApp community link so that you can share with your friends to understand how this training module is going on. Okay, let's move on. So once you complete the payment, so there is no option of batch shifting and no amount refund is going to entertain. So please, once you are happy with this training module, click on this payment link. As soon as you click on payment link, you can find the batch details to which batch you are going to make payment. Just cross verify for what batch you are going to make payment. Click on the buy course link so that it is going to redirect to payment details to complete the transaction. So once payment is done, there is no option to batch shifting and there is no option to refund. Please cross verify and complete the payment. So it is very much important, as I stated, please be part of WhatsApp community. If you are not part of WhatsApp community, so that you can contact and support at logiclabstech.com. It is a mail ID. Admin team is able to assist you for any kind of queries. If you are facing any issues, admin team is able to help you to fix that issues without any issues. So, and admin team is available on these two numbers. These two numbers are available on WhatsApp. So, other than India users, they can call on WhatsApp number to get any resolution, any queries they can address on WhatsApp call as well. You can send a message on WhatsApp number as well. So all the sessions, including these two sessions, all the sessions will be uploaded to LMS Graphy portal along with note files. Yesterday we discussed about how to complete the registration, that PDF document, whatever the file I'm going to present here, that note files will be uploaded along with recordings. So the recordings can be played n number of times. There is no limit and the records available for lifetime. Whatever the files, note files, PDF files, exam DOMs, all those files you can download. But recorded sessions will be played in the LMS Graphy portal only. You are not in a position to download recorded session, but note files can be downloaded. Our admin team is available Monday to Saturday between 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST. You can reach at any point of time for any kind of queries. So we are available on social media, LinkedIn, Telegram, Facebook. Please register one of the any social media link to get a regular updates. So any questions on previous session? For every day, we are going to have a recap of this session. So yesterday, we discussed about introduction, course overview, and successfully completed the registration process. Any questions on the previous topic, like free tier details, global infrastructure, account registration? So every session, starting of the session, we are going to just recap, review of previous topics. So just a previous session, just introduction only. Today we are going to continue the actual session about what we are going to do as part of this course. Any questions before continuing? If you are not able to speak up, you can raise a hand. If you are not able to unmute yourself, then only raise the hand. Otherwise, you can unmute yourself at any point of time and you can interrupt me. Be interactive. So simply don't listen. If any queries at any point of time, you are happy to interrupt me. Okay? If you are not able to unmute, then you can raise a hand. Otherwise, you can unmute and speak up. Anyone, any questions, please?
No question from my side. I'm good.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to log into the console. Let me go with log into the console. AWS Management Console. Hope everyone successfully completed to pre-tier account registration. 2 rupees deduction or $1 deduction, whatever the direction it may be. You are in a position to get that same amount refund within 3 to 4 working days. Thus, that's the reason it is a absolute free tier account, 12 months free tier account. I'm going to connect my login details, whatever the email ID you are going to mention, that email ID will be act as a root user. So I'm just entered the my email ID and entering the password, connected to the console. As soon as connect to the console, so which reason I connected? What is the reason? Yesterday we
North
discussed that.
Virginia.
Yes, North Virginia. What is the reason? What is the availability zone? Anyone? What is the reason? What is the availability zone?
the region is where our actual the AWS actual data center are there. So that is called region, and availability is something like if the one data center is going down, the next one will be available for our services.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I think the region is US East 1 and the availability zone is North Virginia.
Slight confusion. So in AWS Global Infrastructure, yesterday we discussed about AWS Global Infrastructure. Just Google it about AWS Global Infrastructure. You are going to get a complete map about AWS Global Infrastructure. Just click on this AWS Global Infrastructure. You can see that currently that AWS is operating from 34 regions. What is a region? It is a geographical location. There are 108 availability zones. What is 108 availability zone? In each region, region is nothing but geographical location. In that respect to geographical location, there are each geographical location minimum two or more availability zones will be there. Availability zone is nothing but a dedicated data center, a IT infrastructure, well equipped with IT infrastructure in that availability. Availability zone is nothing but a full-fledged IT infrastructure data center. The same building, the building is equipped with full of IT infrastructure like servers, network devices, storage devices, all IT related infrastructure will be present in that building. That same building, we are going to call it as a data center. That data center will be called as availability zone. Okay, that is AZ. Okay, hope it is clear. So as soon as I connected, why I connected to North Virginia is AWS Global Infrastructure is intelligent enough and it is providing free access to showcase its capability, how robust the infrastructure is, how easily we are able to access the service. That's the reason out of all availability reasons, out of all 108 availability zones, it is going to connect one availability zone, but to serve you better. So for me, I am a free tier account user. I am not a business user. Even though I'm connected, I'm sitting in Bangalore, I connected to North Virginia region and availability zone. What is availability zone here? Once you click on that arrow, it is a region. North Virginia is a region. US East 1 is a availability zone. In that North Virginia, there are 5 availability zones are there. So one availability zone, we will be connected. Okay, now it is done. Next one. Once you are connected, we are able to see this console. What all the services? Never ever use shortcuts. You will find shortcuts for easy access, but never ever use. During the practice, you have to click on services and to choose the desired services by selecting respective category and choose desired services. Never use recently visited or never create shortcuts. Please navigate category of the service. For example, today we are going to talk about again EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud that I am going to select compute as I know that it is available under compute. As it is a first time for you, please go and click on each and every category and what is the description of technical name and short description will be there and understand what it is. It is just a navigation. You need to understand what all services are available. Just having a short information about what it is. Is it related to our requirement? just go through for each and every category, each and every service. Okay. So as of now, we are going to go to the compute and we are going to perform EC2. As yesterday only we registered, as just yesterday we completed the registration process. Now we need to understand, we know that we are part of free tier account, but we need to understand. Yesterday we deployed one server. You might be deployed one server. Now I would like to see my utilization. Where can I see how much utilized, how much capacity, how much free tier consumption is done for my account? You can click on the account name, whatever the account name is there. You can click on that account name and you will find account information. I'm going to click on this account information under respect to account information. So I'm going to click on account. It is going to redirect to one of the service, that is billing and cost management. Now, what is this reason? As soon as I select account, it's redirected to billing and cost management. It is one of the service. It is one of the service. Now, which reason it is connected? Which reason it is connected?
It is connected to global region. Yes.
Yes, very good. There are two types of services. Whatever the services are available out of all this listed category, whatever the services you can see, some services are regional specific service. Some services are global. So you can easily identify whatever the service you select. Is it a regional specific service or is it a global service? As soon as I selected account information, it is changed that region from specific region to global. That means the cost management is a global service. Okay. Similar way, whatever the service you are going to select, you can understand is it a regional specific or a global. Only two types. Okay. Now, under this billing and cost management, you can see that you will find a free tier option. You will find a free tier option. You can find free tier option. You can click on this free tier. What is my utilization? You may get only, here I'm getting multiple services. You are going to get only Amazon EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud only if you deployed EC2. And what is the percentage of usage and all those details. Generally, this particular billing information takes 24 hours to reflect this data here. Okay. And what is my billing? As it is a free tier account, I am checking that free tier utilization. What is my consumption? If it is a free tier utilization reaches 80%, are reaching 75%, you are going to get a mail communication that indicates you are reaching your utilization 75% utilization. So according to that, you can check that. If you are not speaking, please go on mute. Thank you. Okay. So the same billing information, as soon as I selected account and click on account, I'm redirected to billing and cost management. The same billing and cost management service, I can get it from other way as well. Where to go? Click on services. There is a category, cloud financial management. I'm going to click on cloud financial management, and you can see that under cloud financial management category, you can find billing and cost management. So the same window, it is going to come into picture. To get a cost billing and cost management, there are two ways. From the account, I can get that information, or else from services, cloud financial management, we are going to check what is my billing. You can see currently my billing is $2.27. There is some utilization is there. That's the reason it is showing $2.27. For you, it is a 12 months free. That's the reason you will find here under billing and payments, you will find 0. Billing will be 0. So here also you can find free tier. You can click on free tier about your utilization. Every time as soon as you log in, it is mandatory to cross verify what is my billing. Okay. So these are two things we need to verify as long as you connected to AWS Management Console. Any doubts, please? Any clarification?
No, so far so good. Thank you.
Okay. Now, before continuing deploying of, I'm switching over to from services. My billing is clear. There is a 0 billing and free tier utilization. Everything is showing just 0 utilization as we created just yesterday. So I'm going to click on compute, going to EC2. Today we are going to deploy one Windows instance and one Linux instance. And once those two instances are deployed, we are able to connect in a different ways. What are the configurations we need to perform during the deployment? Okay. So before continuing, just basic theory. Okay. So as soon as whenever you are going to start working on practice, the first thing you need to mention the date, what date you are performing the practice, 29 September, what region you connected, North Virginia, and what service you are working, compute, under compute EC2 service. Okay, services, compute, under compute you are going to select EC2. And you are going to land to EC2 dashboard. Okay, we already discussed about free tier details. If you want, you can check. And global infrastructure, we already discussed about what is the regions, what is the availability zone. Whatever the topic we are discussing, every topic, exam point of view, it is important. The questions will be there, multiple choice questions, MCQ questions type model, exam pattern. So the question will be there, how many reasons, what is the reason, okay, what is the availability zone? Questions will be like that, okay? So you need to understand what is theory and what is the technical names is going to come into picture while working on AWS Management Console. So once, whatever the reason you may connect, I told you yesterday, we can change, switch over to region from one region to another region. For example, I connected to North Virginia, I can switch over to Mumbai, Sydney, any region which is highlighted and available here. Some regions are grayed out. That means we are not in a position to connect. Those are only available for only paid customers. So they can host the service. It is not available for free tier access. Okay. So whatever the highlighted ones, you can choose any place to access. Now, what is a cloud? What is the cloud terminology? What is a cloud? We are talking, we are working on different things. What is a cloud?
A service
Any?
which is available over the internet.
Exactly. Connecting, accessing a service over the internet is nothing but a cloud. Okay. So how the cloud is, what are the different types of clouds? Different types of cloud. What is the different types of cloud?
Uh, do you mean a service provider in cloud like Amazon Web Services,
Public,
AWS,
That is a
Azure?
cloud providers.
private cloud, and hybrid cloud.
Exactly. We are having different types of cloud like uh, public, private, hybrid, community cloud. What is a public? The public cloud is nothing but even I can connect, you are going to connect, everyone is going to connect and able to access the resources on a shared infrastructure. Whatever the infrastructure is available, that server, networking, storage, those infrastructure will be shared to the public. That is a public cloud. Whereas in private cloud, what is a private cloud? Now, whatever the traditional data center in the sense that earlier we are going to call it as a data center. Later, the same traditional data center named as a on-premises, on-prem. The same on-prem, the same data center, now they are calling as a private cloud. Private cloud is nothing but that data center, that infrastructure is dedicated to only one specific organization. How the name is converted, they are polishing the name. Okay, so we need to understand what is a public, what is a private. Public is nothing but whatever the IT infrastructure, the same IT infrastructure, server, hardware, networking devices, storage devices, power consumption, all those infrastructure will be shared to public. Would like to connect, they can connect. They are using the sharing purpose. Whereas in private, the same data center will be dedicated to only one organization, that is a private cloud. Earlier names of private cloud, on-prem data center. The same on-prem data center they used to call as a client data center. The naming convention changes, the polishing and then making as a private cloud. Okay, hope you understand. Now, how is hybrid cloud? Who is going to tell me what is hybrid? Anyone? What is a hybrid cloud?
Both
It's
public.
combination of both public and private. Some services they will take from public and some they will use on-prem.
Yeah, exactly. Hybrid cloud is nothing but it is a both public and private cloud. Private is means all the services, whatever the servers, whatever the infrastructure for an organization they are going to use, they will be dedicatedly accessible only organization people. Some services will be hosted on public cloud. Their access that who are working for that organization, they will be connecting to organization resources as well as that related organization services are hosted in public cloud. Their infrastructure, they are accessing in both places. That environment is nothing but a hybrid cloud, both on-prem and public cloud. One of the public cloud or multiple public clouds. Maybe some services will be there in Azure, some services will be there in AWS or Google Cloud, whatever it may be. On-prem and one or two public clouds, that is nothing but a hybrid cloud. Okay. Whereas in community cloud, a specific kind of application will be shared, like banking application, a banking sector, a multiple banks together and sharing a common platform, that is community cloud. Okay. So now AWS, we are learning about AWS Solution Architect Associate. Now, that AWS Solution Architect comes under which one? Is it a public? Is it a private? Is it a hybrid? Which one is it? We are learning AWS Cloud,
Public.
public cloud. They're hosting that who are available to provide public cloud. There are providers, public cloud providers like Amazon, AWS, someone says that AWS, someone says that Amazon Web Services. AWS, Amazon Web Services, the name is same. AWS Solution Architect Associate deals about complete IT infrastructure and some services. Whatever the services you are going to talk about, that is related to IT infrastructure services. In AWS, Solution Architect Associate deals about complete IT infrastructure. What is IT infrastructure? Whatever the system, if you talk about one particular system, for example, you are working on application. Let me go with that. Sorry. For every requirement, is going to start with an application. You are, for example, connecting to flight ticket booking. Flight ticket booking in the sense you need to open an app, you need to have a device, and that application is going to connect. What application? The flight booking ticket app, or you are going to use the browser to book the flight ticket. Who is going to develop that application to get that user interface, user login interface, selecting the flight and setting the seat and all those things? That application developer is going to design. To design that application, that underneath they need to have an IT infrastructure. What is an IT infrastructure? What application they need to develop the code? That application is going to work, execute on one operating system. Who is going to deploy operating system? Operating system will be configured by respect to admin, either Linux admin or Windows admin, like that. So after which, who, for a Windows administrator to deploy configure Windows operating system, or Linux administrator to configure Linux operating system, where they are going to configure, they are need to have a system. What is that system? System is nothing but 5 major components. What is the 5 major components? Motherboard, storage, network, what else? Memory. These all the system 5 major components is nothing but infrastructure. A system is means it is having a motherboard, storage, network, memory, CPU, all those as a box. Now to provide that box, to have an operating system, I need to have a box. That box, either it may be physical server, either it may be uh, virtual server. That's where the cloud IT infrastructure is going to come into picture. That IT infrastructure, how the storage is going to provide, how the network is going to provide, how the power is going to provide, all those comes under AWS Solution Architect Associate. The designing, how the systems are going to connect, how the systems accessing the storage. This entire IT infrastructure deals under AWS Solution Architect Associate. The next one is there are AWS DevOps is there. DevOps is nothing but it is a next level of advance to deal with application developers. Whatever the tools they are going to use, the applications, the use case of application, they need to go with DevOps. So containers, Dockers, and all those things, application specific applications are going to come into picture under AWS DevOps. There is a AWS Terraform. Yesterday we discussed about Terraform is nothing but automation. It is infrastructure as a code. Okay. So this is a sequence for everything. If you want to understand DevOps, if you want to understand Terraform, first of all, we need to understand Solution Architect Associate. You are in the right place. It is a starting and you need to understand complete IT infrastructure to proceed with. In a traditional environment, you no need to bother about what system it is. You are going to open a ticket. If system issue comes in picture, respect to admin is going to troubleshoot. But in a cloud technology, everything you need to work on. You need to understand how the system is going to connect, how the systems are going to get the storage, where to store the files. It is, you need to understand to work on DevOps, to work on the tools, how the tools are going to integrate with the IT infrastructure. You need to understand. Okay, a cloud is nothing but a centralized framework wherein you can choose respect to service and understand underneath how they're connected it together. Okay. Now we understand cloud types, private, public, hybrid, and other things. Now we need to understand cloud models. What is the cloud models? Cloud service models, software as a service and infrastructure as a service. You are in a position to understand, specify whatever the service you are going to select. Whatever the service you are going to select, click on this link. You can go to Google and select. I found this one is providing a clear information about complete model. There are different models are available. Basically, as cloud is describes about these models, basically, it is going to compare the traditional IT infrastructure. The traditional IT infrastructure is nothing but everything will be taken care by respect to organization. From the basic structure, data center onwards until application configuration, everything will be managed and maintained by respect to organization. Under infrastructure as a service, who is going to manage what? See here, the cloud provider is going to maintain this particular components under cloud provider. The blue ones will be managed by the respect who are the customer is purchasing, who are using under cloud. They are going to manage middleware, runtime, application configuration, everything. That infrastructure as a service is nothing but until operating system. Whatever EC2 we are going to deploy today, that is Windows instance, Linux instance, that is going to comes under infrastructure as a service. Until operating system, cloud provider is going to take care. Once infrastructure is deployed, then what application is required, what configuration is required, everything will be taken care by respect to customer. Platform as a service. What is a platform as a service? Operating system and some portion of the basic configuration of service will be managed by cloud provider. Only the application configuration and data access will be taken care by respect to organization. Whereas in software as service, the customer is not going to bother anything. Everything will be managed by cloud provider. Whatever the website, whatever the application, they are going to provide an URL, they are going to provide an app, just install that app and use it. They don't need to bother about what is underneath about what is the application, what is the version of the application, what is the updates, what is the management. No need to worry. Everything will be taken care by cloud provider. This is a cloud models available, basic cloud models. There are different cloud models are there. Disaster recovery as a service, backup restore as a service. Different models are there. Basic models we are talking now, that is infrastructure as a service, that is IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. Okay, just go through this basics. Now, what is the advantage? Why this cloud is emerging nowadays? Why everyone is looking for cloud nowadays? Because we have been working as a software developer. Someone I'm working as an administrator. Basically, I started my career as a Intel administrator. Later, moved to virtualization. Virtualization. Once it is virtualization is over, it is turned to as a cloud. We shape up our technical skills from one technology to another. We have to upskill. We have to be up to the market to grab the technical skills and adopt the technology and meet the business requirement. So it is a continuation journey to learn and implement the service. Now, why this cloud is so advantage? There are three basic advantages we are going to talk about while deploying the services. We are going to talk about major advantages. Cloud is emerging and everyone is happy with this particular pay as you go model. What is pay as you go model? Now I am going to deploy one particular, yesterday we deployed EC2 instance. Did I pay anything? Not even 1 rupee. For example, after free tier, I am going to, as a business customer, we need to purchase a service. Now, instance, if you can see that instance types, there are different instance types are there. In each instance type, you can find the cost of each instance. Cost of each instance. What is the configuration? For example, I selected a TT Micro. You can see that this particular pay-as-you-go model, one of the biggest advantage of this pay-as-you-go model, the cost model. What is the cost? You can see that cost, pricing. For every service, whatever the service you are going to choose on the cloud platform, it may be AWS, it may be Azure or Google GCP, whatever it may be. The first thing you need to understand what that service is. Then next, you need to understand pricing model. The cloud technology, just like I can, it is my own opinion. Don't fix it to me. It's just like a credit card. If you use it properly, no penalties. If you misuse, you end up paying huge penalties. The cloud technology is similar to credit card. If you properly utilize, you are going to pay as you go model. Pay as you go model, use it and pay it. That's it. Whatever they use and pay for that. For example, yesterday we deployed Windows instance. What is Windows instance? The price is 0.0, not even $0.1. $1 price is 80, 90 rupees. If you take it as an example, 90 rupees, 0.1, not even 2 rupees. Not even 2 rupees per 1 hour. Who is going to give for 2 rupees for 1 hour usage of system? Even if you go to internet center, you have to pay per hour 20 rupees, 30 rupees, right? So here, we no need to bother about Windows license. We no need to bother about server configuration. You no need to be expertise in Windows server configuration. I don't know anything about Linux. Still, I can deploy a Linux server. Still, if I don't know anything about Windows, a software programmer is there. He doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything about installation of operating system. This cloud provider, this services is providing free access, simple steps to deploy whatever the service you're looking for. With a simple steps, you can deploy Windows server and you can play with on it. Linux server you can deploy and you can play on it. And once your play is done, you set up, you tried R&D, whatever the steps you are going to perform. Okay, pay 2 rupees, get rid of that. Pay as you go model. One of the biggest advantages of cloud, why it is so amazing nowadays, pay as you go. No need to bother about, no need to maintain infrastructure, no need to maintain data center, no need to maintain expertise personnel, professional skill persons to manage the environment. Everything will be taken care by cloud provider. Just use it and pay it and go. That is pay as you go model. That is one of the biggest advantages in the cloud. Okay. Next, availability. What is availability? There is a cloud, every cloud provider. Amazon is providing 11 nines of availability. What is availability? Availability is nothing but even though one system is down, your service will not be impacted. Your service will be up and running, accessible at any point of time. It is AWS is guarantee that 11 nines. That means if you are choosing availability, we are going to configure availability. One system means if that system is down due to some issues, you are not in a position to access that application. So to maintain availability, I need to configure the same application on 2 systems. So even one system is down, one system will be available. This availability function we are going to configure within the availability zone, across the availability zones, across the regions to maintain the availability. That's the reason AWS is providing guaranteed 11 nines. There is no possibility of 100% at any point of time. There will be a downtime. That's the reason they are mentioning 11 nines guarantee. But according to availability, you need to pay extra cost. Okay. So this is availability. We are going to see wherever it is availability, where it is pay as you go model is going to come. What is the scalability? Anyone idea? Scalability, what is the scalability?
The infrastructure can be, increased or decreased based on the requirement very easily.
Exactly, thank you. Without no need to worry. For example, if I need to buy second laptop itself, I need to go to the market, I need to buy the laptop and need to configure and everything I need to set up to use it. I'm not sure what is the business demand. Here in the cloud, on demand, the scalability within fraction of minutes, my count, whatever the count you are you looking for 1,000? Yes, the scalability is available. That means robust infrastructure is available in AWS. Okay, once the business demand is done, for example, nowadays Amazon great discount sale is going on. To maintain those many requests, I need to have a complete IT infrastructure to meet that number of users. Otherwise, what will happen? Site will crash, business will lose. Thanksgiving Day is going to come in US, UK. That discount sales, whenever discount sales are happening, there is huge rush will be there on the respective sites. So to meet that number of requests, the underlying infrastructure to be ready. We are not sure 1,000 users are going to come into picture, 10,000s are going to come into picture. As soon as the user count requests are going to increase, the utilization is going to increase, that underlying infrastructure automatically increases or decreases according to users access. That is the scalability. This is one of the biggest advantage. You no need to worry about what is the infrastructure demand it may be. The demand will be ready to serve you better. These are the major advantages of cloud technology. That's the reason cloud is an emerging technology. Everyone is looking for advantages. Yeah. Okay. So whenever the topics are going to come, I'm going to come into picture and discuss about these three topics. Let's move on deploying our services. As soon as I'm ready to deploy, I'm going to click on services. I'm not choosing recently visited. I'm not choosing recently visited. I'm going to click on services every time. Click on compute, go to the respective service, EC2. Under EC2, I'm going to start with the deployment of Windows Server. Okay. Yesterday we already deployed. Today I'm going to deploy again. Okay. Before deploying, you can see that there is a key pair. Number one is there. I'm going to go and delete key pairs. Yesterday I didn't delete. Let me delete this key pairs. Delete. Okay. Delete. Okay. Whatever the dashboard you can see, and you can see 0, 0, 0, here all zeros, here also all zeros, and security group by default 1 will be there. Yesterday I created one security group, it is not deleted, I am deleting now. So as soon as you are connected to any region, maybe North Virginia, Stockholm, London, Mumbai, any region, by default, you as soon as you select EC2, you are going to see that EC2 dashboard. In that EC2 dashboard, you can see that this is everyone is going to showcase zeros. Only one will be there as a security group, only one. Remaining all zeros will be there. Okay. So we are going to start now to launch the deployment. So I'm going to click on launch instance. What is the name I'm going to mention? Win server.
Do you want we to follow same?
Sorry.
Do you want we to also create the instance on AWS?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Do you want we also to create EC2 instance?
No, 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 no. Please don't. Please see that in what we are going to do here. So don't do parallel operation. So please watch here. Once this record session is available, live session is available, then you can practice. 5 days will be available for you to do practice. Yeah. Please don't do parallel operation. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Win server 001. I'm selecting Windows. and select here. This is a free tier. I told you, right? What is the version you can select? We can select 22 base, core base. What is a core base? You can understand core base is nothing but a Windows operating system. Specific core application we can select and install. Okay. Now we are going with who are they going to deploy? They choose only base operating system, either 2022, 2019, 2016. Make sure whatever the operating system you are going to select, version you are going to select, make sure at the end it is going to display as free tier eligible. If you are not going to select free tier eligible, you end up paying a bill. Okay. So to avoid a billing, to utilize your free tier utilization, we need to make sure whatever the service we are going to select, it should be eligible free tier. Okay. So I'm selecting 22 to base, selected. Next. Make sure it is free tier, it is displaying over here, free tier. Okay, it is important. Okay. The next, instance type. Coming to that instance type, what is the instance type? There are different instance models are there. These are the different models. The model names are described as T2, T3. Different models will be there. You can see that H1 2x large, H1 4x large. For all those things, you can find this. There is no free tier eligibility, and you can see that pricing model also. Okay, for SUSE Linux, what is the price? For Windows, what is the price? You can see that. As part of free tier, you can choose whatever the free tier eligible. That is, we are as part of free tier, we are eligible to select only the free tier model. What is that model? Only T2 micro model. Okay, it is already selected here. Whatever the price it is going to showcase here. For Windows, it is a 0.0162. That means after free tier, after 750 hours of usage, you are ready to pay this much bill per hour. This EC2 instance, hourly base charge, hourly base charge. Okay. So T2 micro selected by default, make sure it is showing as a free tier eligible. What is a key pair? Yesterday we mentioned that key pair is nothing but the operating system already pre-configured by the developer by Amazon AWS. As part of redeployment, they are going to set up some password. To access, to gain that password, they are using key pair mechanism. What is a key pair mechanism? One key will be there in that operating system configuration. Whatever the key pair we are going to create, that key pair will be matched with that existing key. Once that matches both the keys, operating system, predefined operating system will be having public key. We are going to create a private key. Once public and private key matches together, it is going to give you an option to get the password. As simple as that. There is no rocket science here. So key pair is nothing but we are creating a pair mechanism. Public key will be there in that predefined configuration. We are creating a matching key, that is a private key. That is, we are going to click on create a key pair and we are going to select win key. What is today's date? 29 September to understand am I using right key. Okay. Here, there is a private key file format is there. Do I need to select PEM extension? Do I need to select PPK extension? Okay. For Windows operating system, other than Linux, that is only Windows, we have to choose PEM extension only. We are going to see that while decrypting the password, it is going to prompt only PEM extension files. It is going to accept only PEM extension files. So we need to select PEM extension for Windows operating system private key generation. Okay, I selected PEM extension. As soon as I click on create a key pair, that file will be downloaded and it is going to save in our download folder. If we lost this file, you cannot log into the system. Okay. Create key pair
Question.
generated. Yes, please.
So yesterday we have created an instance and we have created a key pair, right? So you
Yes.
have deleted it today.
Yes.
And now we have again creating a new instance. Here we have an option to select in the drop down. So if we don't delete that, do we have a list of key pairs which we generated here?
Yes. If you, for example, this key pairs will be available for regional specific. If you are already downloaded a key pair, if you're already using the same version, you will drop down, you will get a key pairs list over here. You can choose and you can configure. No
We
issues.
can use the same key pair to a different instance. Like, can I use the yesterday's key pair to today's instance?
Yes, for Windows instance, you can use. You can
But
practice. You can practice whatever the possible ways are there. You can practice and it is allowing to decrypt or not allowing to decrypt. You are in a position to understand.
okay.
Yeah. So to initially to avoid confusion, whenever we are going to practice, we are going to start practice, and at the end of the session, we are going to clean up the environment. As part of clean up the environment, we are going to terminate and we are going to delete whatever the keys we create. Everything will be clean up. Okay. So we are going to understand at the end of the session. Yeah. So here key pair is created. It is selected. Now coming to the network settings. In the network settings, I'm not changing anything. Okay, I'm not changing anything. Only I would like to change the name of this particular. By default, it is going to create a launch wizard 1. I would like to change this name from launch wizard 1 to I would like to define some specific name. So for that, what I'm going to do is under network settings, there is an edit option is available. Click on edit option and I'm going to mention this launch wizard security group name. What is a security group? Security group is nothing but a firewall configuration. What is a firewall? Anyone? What is a firewall? In a traditional environment, we generally call it as a firewall configuration. What is a firewall? Anyone?
To protect our organization from external threats or something, maybe like that.
Exactly. That is perfectly. How? It is a security measure to protect the external threats. How?
By enabling the security at port level.
Exactly. Security at port level. What is that port?
uh, I mean, let's see with an example. If I have an application server, and
Mhm.
that application server is communicating on any port like 7001 or something else, uh, and that port is only enabled in firewall. So that kind of security level uh, we can
Exactly.
enable using
E-
the firewall.
Exactly. That networking, as soon as we talk about networking, we are going to come into picture about the OSI model. The OSI model is nothing but the 7 layers application. Now we are talking about port, how to provide a security to allow or block any specific port. Each and every application will be established communication with the IP address. That IP address is comes under networking infrastructure. That networking is comes in picture, this 11 layers. The packet, network packet, this 7 layers, how the packet is going to flow from one layer to another layer. We are going to discuss about under VPC, virtual private cloud. I'm going to discuss about again this basics. Now, as part of that instance deployment, as I mentioned, security group. That same security group, I am telling that it is a firewall. What is a firewall? It is a providing that port blocking, port allow. That port, what is that port? Application port number. For each and every application, there will be a specific port number. What are the port numbers? If you open application port numbers range, you will find for each and every IP communication, there are 0 to 65,353 ways of entering the packet into the network. There is a ways. How the hacker is going to come into picture, come enter into your mobile, entering into your system. What are you are in opening one specific application, but that hacker is entering in a different direction. As soon as you open the browser, this browser is going to open HTTPS. The HTTPS, what is the port number? 443. HTTP is a 80. By default, every allow communication browser application, in the sense it is going to allow communication port application. Similar way, in EC2 deployment, we need to connect. In the network configuration, we are going to allow communication that I am going to mention WinSG001. What is that security group? Security group is nothing but it is a firewall at instance level. What it is going to do? It is going to allow out of 0 to 65,000 ways of entering to network. Now here you can see that it is going to allow only out of 65,000 ways entering into the system. What it is going to allow? Only one port number. That is, what is that application? RDP port number 3389. That means this security group, this network configuration is going to block all other port numbers. Out of 65,535, it is going to block and allows only one way, that is 3389. Okay. By default, whatever the instance you are going to deploy, if you deploy Windows instance, it is going to allow RDP because we need to connect. I'm sitting in Bangalore. I need to establish communication to the Windows server, which is hosted on public cloud sitting at US North Virginia region, one of the availability zone. So how can I connect? Over the internet. Over the internet, my IP address is able to establish communication in different direction. 65,000 ways I can establish communication. Out of all the 65,000 ways of application communication, it is going to allow only 3389. That means it is providing security. The security group, what is the we are configuring now? Security group. That security group is nothing but a firewall at instance level. This is one of the exam question. What is a security group? Security group is nothing but a firewall at instance level. Okay. So we did a rename that we mentioned instead of standard name, we mentioned as a WinSG001. By default, it is going to allow RDP. I can allow any other port. For example, add security group rule. I would like to configure on this web server. So what I am going to do? I am going to select HTTP. As soon as select HTTP, it is going to allow 80. You can see that the source from where the packet is going to come into picture. Anywhere, custom, my IP. We are going to discuss more on this upcoming sessions. Okay. So by default, whatever the port it is allowing, by default, anywhere network representation will be 0.0.0/0. That 0.0 represents any network. What is a network? What is the subnets? All those things will be discussed in our upcoming sessions and the network. It doesn't require any deep networking knowledge. It is so simple. I make you to understand very easily networking concepts. No worries. Okay. So any doubts here?
So here RDP port is 3389 and HTTP port is 80, right?
Yes.
By default.
Yes.
So RDP, so we can connect only through RDP if we enable it, and HTTP means through link we can connect to it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
So
Can we use
yes, please
can we
continue.
use multi just you selected TCP RDP
What multiple?
multiple ports means you have only selected protocol TCP. If I want to use other than TCP same time,
Yes, you can configure. See here, different options are there. We can select all this, or you can select the port range also. Okay, what are the port range? UDP, TCP, anything you can select. What basically we are going to configure here, you can see here the terminology inbound security group rules. What is inbound? From internet. I am sitting at Bangalore. Over the internet, I am connecting to this service. So the traffic, the network packet is going to come from internet to enter into that North Virginia availability zone. Under availability zone, one of the physical server virtualization will be there. That server will be hosted on there. I am going to connect that server, that is going to inbound traffic. That inbound traffic is restricted to allow traffic only 3389. Is it clear? So here the concept what we need to understand is security group. What is a security group? Security group is nothing but firewall. What is a firewall? We know it is providing a security. Most of the guys understands that as under a wrong assumption that cloud is not secured enough. Is security. This comes under secured. How it is going to secure? It is going to secure one way of secure. There are different ways of security to fine tune. We are going to discuss in upcoming sessions. Okay. So here instance level firewall. What is the instance level firewall? That is a security group. In a security group, I can configure what port to be allowed inside. Okay. Clear? Okay. Let's proceed. Next, configure storage. Storage is by default 30 GB. If you want, you can increase size 30 GB. But as part of free tier, it is allowed. See here, free tier eligible customer can get up to 30 GB. If you add 1 GB more or 5 GB more, it is going to count as a one instance file space. That means even if you add 5 GB more also, it is going to count as a additional instance. Each instance, Windows instance, is going to count as 130 GB equal to 1 hour of usage. If you add 5 GB, it is going to count as additional 30 GB. Okay. So 30 GB is more than enough. We are not going to copy anything. Let's see how this 30 GB, how this one CPU, 1 GB memory, how effectively the server is going to perform. We can see that. Okay, that is the configuration details. I'm going to click on launch details. No other configurations. I'm done. Okay, launch details. Windows instance launch is going on. It is going to deploy. Only we mention the server name, what is the name, and what is the networking, what is the instance type, what is the OS model. Now, we are going to proceed with, again, I'm not going back. I can click on instances, I can click on EC2. Okay, let's see that. I'm going to click on instances. Whatever the instance I'm going to see here, it is going to get ready. It is Win server. Now I would like to proceed with second instance, that is a Linux based instance. Let's see the difference about Windows and Linux. Okay. Now I'm going to click on launch instance. I can click on launch instance here, or else I can go to services, compute, EC2. Again, the same dashboard is going to come into picture. Under the dashboard, I can see launch instance. The same launch instance is available under instances. Okay. You can see here launch instance. The launch instance wizard is same. Even you click on there or here, both are same. Now I am going to mention a Linux server 001. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, server name as a Linux server. What operating system I need to choose? The model of vendor image. I have a Amazon Linux, Ubuntu Linux, Red Hat Linux, SUSE Linux. The different versions of Linux flavors are there. Okay, whatever the version you would like to go for, you can go for. Let's go with Amazon Linux. Under Amazon Linux itself, you can find different free tier options are available and non-free tier options also available. What we need to make sure, whatever the image it is showing as a free tier eligible, we need to go with that to understand how do we deploy, how do we connect. For that practice, we can choose only free tier. If any specific application requirement, why we need to deploy a server? For example, why we need to deploy a server? Where this requirement is coming from? That application developer is going to come into picture. I would like to install a specific application. Each and every application is going to come into picture based on the user requirements. How many users are going to connect to that application? Based on the number of users, their requirements. For example, 1,000 users are there. They are need to book a flight tickets or railway tickets. To meet the user requirement, that application developer need to develop an application to meet the user requirement. They need to log in, they need to select the flight, they need to make the payment, they need to book the seat and all those things. This application developer need to develop the front-end application in such a way that to enter all those requirements. Who is going to enter? User. To meet the user requirements, now application is going to design certain page, web page or application app, mobile app, whatever it may be. For every application, requires a platform to execute. That according to user, application is going to come. According to application requirements, operating system is going to come into picture. According to operating system, what version, what OS, everything is going to come into picture. According to operating system, what configuration is required, how much CPU, how much memory, how much storage is required, how much network bandwidth is required to meet that user requirements, how many servers are required. So this is a IT infrastructure life cycle from where it is started, from the users it is started. So according to application requirement, we are going to choose operating system, right? So right now there is no applications, just we are deploying it. How we deploy a specific server operating system, either Windows, either Linux. Both are two different flavors. There is a Mac also is there. If you want, you can deploy Mac also. Here I am going to showcase one Windows, one Linux. Okay, selecting Linux. That
What is
Linux is, yes, please.
what is AMI? I can see.
AMI, Amazon Machine Image.
Okay, I
We
can
are
see
going.
two AMI numbers there. So what will be exact image number for that in that?
Amazon Linux 2023 AMI, Amazon Linux 2 AMI HVM. HVM is a one more version, the kernel version they define.
Okay,
We are going to, yes.
yeah, there are two numbers, AMI 0E something is mentioned and again AMI 00E.
Where,
So
where do you see that?
yeah, same Amazon Lex 2023 AMI description, in the description it has mentioned numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever the numbers it is going to represent, we are going to create AMI. AMI is nothing but a image, the template. How do we create image? It is Amazon predefined operating system images. They are defining the numbers, each AMI representation, one number. Okay. We are going to choose according to whatever the requirement it is for us. We are going to create our own AMIs, Amazon Machine is after configuring certain applications. Okay, we are going to see that there you are going to understand what is the AMI description. For example, AMI 1, you are going to mention that it is predefined until some updates. The same image you are going to update with some additional application. Then what name you are going to mention? You are going to create one more AMI and describe that AMI 2.0, 2.3. So it is just a version updates differences comparing one AMI to other AMI. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Make sure it is a free tier eligible is available. Next, instance type. What is instance type? Instance type is nothing but hardware configuration. Hardware configuration, how much CPU, how much memory, how much storage, how much network, all those. A system is nothing but five major components: motherboard, CPU, memory, storage, network. That is nothing but instance type. Here it is going to showcase free tier. As part of free tier, we are eligible T2 micro, 1 CPU, 1 GB memory. Okay. So if you want, you can choose different configurations. These are different models. Each model is going to abbreviate as some model name. It is just like Lenovo model, Dell model, different model hardware vendor models. Here, Amazon Linux, Amazon AWS instance types represents TMX, different models. Each model provide specification like 1 CPU to 100 CPUs, 1 GB to 100 GB memory, storage, different configuration parameters are going to come. Each model, according to CPU, according to memory configuration, the price is going to change. See here, M5A 24X large. This configuration providing 96 CPUs, 384 GB memory. What is the cost per hour? $5. If you install a Red Hat Linux, per hour you need to pay $5. If you are installing on same hardware configuration, if you install a Windows based operating system, for the same system you need to pay $8. So it is according to operating system, according to hardware configuration, the price per hour is going to change. Now we are part of free tier, so I am going to proceed with a free tier. Yeah, make sure during your practice it is very much important always free tier is there or not. Just cross check for instance type, for operating system version. For both, you need to make sure free tier eligible is there or not. Yeah. Now key pair. This is a Linux operating system. Do I need to select existing one? There is a existing key pair is there. That key pair is for Windows. Now I need to create a key pair for Linux. For Linux, Linux key 29 September. We need to select PPK. This is a PPK extension is only allowed for Linux authentication. To log into the Linux server, we need to have only PPK. PEM extension, if you create a PEM extension, we need to convert that PEM extension to PPK extension with a PuTTY terminal client. Okay, it's already available, so we can choose PPK. For Linux instances, any Linux flavor, the key pair must be created with a PPK. That is RSA selected, and you can select this one as well. EDS, the token mechanism. So RSA by default, key pair type, private key pair, and make sure you are selecting for use with PuTTY. You can see here, what is a PuTTY? We are going to see that. What is a PPK? I am going to select PPK, create a key pair. Key pair is selected. It is downloaded and it is available. Now come to the networking. What I am going to show you, see the difference here. I am going to click on edit here, networking, and changing the name to Linux SZ. Linux SZ. SZ means security group 001 for easy representation. Now the beauty you can see here. Earlier for Windows, that it is going to allow remote desktop connection, that is RDP protocol, RDP port number 3389. For Linux remote connection, What is a port? What is the application port it is going to use? That is SSH. SSH is in a protocol. It is going to use what port number? 22. Did I select anything? No, I didn't select anything. By default, it is going to understand. It is intelligent enough to choose what is a remote client protocol required to establish remote connection. So by default, SSH it is allowing 22. Other than this, if you want any additional ports to be allowed, you can simply add security group rule. We are going to add security group rules later sessions to meet we are going to configure web server, how to meet the app server configuration, how to install web server, and how do we connect, and all those things we are going to see. Now, inbound security group, what it is allowing? Only 22. It is not allowing other than 22. There are ways, 65,535 ways to enter into the network, but it is going to allow only one, that is 22. Okay. Now here storage, it is going to allow in Windows instance, it is going to allow 30 GB. Here it is going to allow only 8 GB. 8 GB is sufficient for Amazon Linux. That's the reason it is showing as 8 GB. If you want to, you can increase, no issues. Yeah. So clicking on launch instance, that's it. We already successfully deployed 2 instances, one Windows instance, one Linux instance. I'm going to go back to the instances and you can see that Windows is already ready, 2x2 checks passed. So what are the things to connect? I'm going to open the notepad quickly, tell me what are the things I need to grab. So IP, IP or name for Windows. Yeah. Windows Server 001. I need to collect IP name, then next username, then next password, and tool to connect. These 4 details, right? Tool to connect Windows Server. By default, every Windows system will be having a remote desktop client in each and every laptop. No need to download anything. If anyone using Windows 11 Home Edition, if anyone using Windows 11 Home Edition, by default, RDP client is not available. They need to download and they need to install. Okay. For Windows 11 Home Edition, you will not find RDP. Okay. So as soon as you click on RDP or you can type remote, you will find remote desktop connection. Now we need to provide IP information or the name to connect. Get the details. Now where to find the details? How to get that IP details? Where to get? What I need to do here? Anyone?
Just click on the
The
instance and
instance below, you'll find the details.
Exactly. Thank you. Do I need to select private or public?
Public.
Public. Very good. I'm selecting only IP address. Otherwise, we can select the host name as well. Public DNS. We are going to understand what is a DNS and later time. Okay. I'm going to mention IP address. By default, now I'm going to remove this checkbox. Am I getting option, connect option? See here, the connect is grayed out. Okay. As soon as I select the checkbox only, the connect tab is gray available. I'm going to click on connect. Yesterday, I told you that I didn't discuss about what is session manager, what is EC2 serial console. So session manager is nothing but it is a one of the tool to connect multiple servers and from the same application, that is a session manager. We can download and we can install the session manager. Now we are not going to use session manager. We are going to use RDP client. Yesterday we already used RDP client. What is a EC2 serial console? EC2 serial console is a mechanism. For example, remote client is not working. Remote client is not working. I'm not able to connect remotely. I need to perform some troubleshooting steps. Then we need to gain access to the console. In cloud, either it is Azure or it is AWS or Google Cloud, the console option, they are going to provide a serial console. A serial console is nothing but it is going to provide a console access with by executing command instructions to do troubleshooting. Okay, that serial console we can practice later. Okay, for this particular instance, EC2 serial console is not available. To gain the EC2 serial console, we need to use advanced instance configuration, like not free tier. We need to go with advanced console option to gain the serial console access. Let's go with RDP client. Under RDP client, by default, Windows servers username is default, that is administrator. You can configure administrator. What is the password? Now you can see that click on get password. Here get password, whatever the key pair you are going to select. If you select the existing key pair also, that is fine. Or else if you create a new key pair, whatever the key pair you selected during the instance deployment, the same key pair you have to upload here. You selected some key pair during the deployment and you are trying to attach one more key pair. It is not going to allow because the public key and private key is not going to match and it is not going to allow to decrypt the password. So we need to make sure whatever the key pair during the instance deployment, we need to select the respective key pair. I'm going to click on downloads and I have the file 29 September, select that and decrypt the password. Once decrypt, I have the password, copy that password and paste in here. Okay, now let's connect. I have all the details. I have remote desktop client. I'm going to mention IP address. Next, I'm going to mention copy username, connect. Here, if you are connecting from home network, you are able to connect. If you are accessing from office network, some office organizations are not allowed to connect whatever the cloud servers you may deploy. So you need to switch over to office network to mobile hotspot to connect to do practice. Okay. So provided the password, I'm able to access. This server is just having one CPU, 1 GB memory configuration with a 30 GB. How seamlessly we are able to connect, how easily we are navigating the same server with one CPU, 1 GB memory. Even our laptop is having 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB memory configuration. But here it is having one CPU, 1 GB memory and installed 2022 server operating system. Even though we are able to access the server seamlessly, the utilization, the underlying infrastructure that must capable to seamless access this infrastructure. Okay, we successfully connected this Windows server. That is fine. Let refresh. It is logging in, successfully connected to Windows server. It's okay now. Let it connect. Now, time to RTC. Now time to connect Linux server. Linux server 001. Again, same details. IP. What is the username? What is the password? And what is the tool to connect for Linux server? Now, I'm going to go back to that instances. Now we successfully connected Windows instance. That's fine. Now we are going to connect Linux instance. Now I'm going to select Linux instance. Okay, that's fine. I need to copy public IP. Public IP copied. IP name, IP address mentioned. Username. What is the username? So As soon as you select the checkbox, the connect tab is highlighted here. As soon as you click on connect, you can see here there is a additional option is coming to picture. EC2 instance connect is a additional option comparing to Windows Server instance. What is this EC2 connect? This EC2 connect is a browser based connect without having password, without entering username. Directly you can connect a browser base. As soon as you click on connect, the session will be established on the browser based. The session will be established browser without having username, password details. You are able to establish communication to Linux server without entering the username and password. You can see that sudo su and I'm able to get ls. I'm able to execute the commands, whatever the commands are there. I'm in a position to execute. Yeah. So this is the way you can connect. Am I entered any username and password for this Linux? No. It is the session browser-based connection. Browser-based connection. How it is possible? By selecting a connect, there is another option. This option is not available for Windows. This is only available for Linux. Without having entering a username and password, we are able to connect to that system through browser-based HTML5 client. Okay. Now, session manager, we know that it is a tool to connect multiple sessions, multiple servers from the specific application, that is a session manager. SSH client. Now here we know EC2 serial console. EC2 serial console for Windows or Linux instance, it is the same. If the remote client is not connecting, we need to provide a troubleshooting steps. As part of troubleshooting steps, we need to connect to the console and perform some troubleshooting steps. Now let's get the password. SSH client. What is the username? You can see that here you are not able to find the option to connect a get password. Am I getting any option to get the password here? No option. Only I have the username. What is the username? EC2-user. The username is EC2-user. Just copy that EC2. By default, all Linux default user EC2-user. Now there is no password. Now tool. What is a tool to connect? What is a tool to connect this Linux system from remotely? So here we need to download a terminal client called Putty. Putty or Putty, whatever the way you are going to pronounce, that is fine. I'm going to call it as a Putty. So the Putty download, if you click on that Putty download, it is a simple application. If you are using a Linux-based operating system on your laptop, no need to download. If you are using Windows-based operating system, you need to download this client. It is a freeware and you can install this client on your personal TP only. Please don't download in your official laptop. In official laptop, there is a process will be there. Please check organization policies. Are you eligible to download? Okay, please check that and download. Okay, don't download any third-party applications on your official laptop. Okay, please check. Putty by default, every organization accepts because we need to connect our terminal sessions. So you will find a default application in an organization portal itself. No need to download from the portal. Okay, just click on this download Putty and you will find versions for Putty download. Whatever the version you will find, download it here. You will find 64-bit, 64-bit ARM, 32-bit. You can, as my operating system, Windows 10 running on 64-bit operating system, I'm going to download 64-bit operating system. Click on this. It is going to download a simple file and open that file location. Just execute this file, install. It is simple install. Next. As it is already there on my system, it is asking repair. or remove. If you are not having, just click on next, next. It is going to install simple process. Okay, I'm going to cancel. Once installation is done, I'm going to search PuTTY. Okay, the PuTTY terminal is available. In this PuTTY terminal, we have already IP details. That IP details, whatever the IP details are available, I'm going to mention the IP details. Now I don't know password. I have only username. Where to mention the password? Okay. In this PuTTY configuration, please pay attention here. These details are available in this note section also. No need to worry. You can see here. Okay. Linux instance. Here, SSH authorization. You can see the connection window. There is a connection hyphen is there. Expansion is there. Plus mark. Expand. And then SSH expand. Here expand option is there. Under SSH you will find authorization. Expand authorization. Under authorization you will find credentials. In this credential, whatever the key pair you downloaded during the Linux instance deployment, you need to attach that ppk file. Click browse. Here you can see that whatever the key pair, it is not showing PEM extension, it is showing only ppk. I have in the same location PEM and ppk. For Windows, it is not displaying ppk. For Linux, it is not showing PEM extension. So that's the reason for Windows, we need to create a PEM extension. For Linux, we need to create a ppk extension private key file. I selected this and click on logging. As soon as click on open, already IP and mentioned, yes, accepted. Now I am going to increase the font size for better visibility. See here how I am selecting on the top corner of this PuTTY terminal client. Top left corner on the mouse click, I am clicking on the mouse click and I am going to choose change settings, appearance, and then the font size change, I'm going to choose 20. Click on OK, apply. What is the username? EC2-user. Enter. Whatever the key pair in that PuTTY terminal client uploaded, by using that key pair, it is authenticating to that Linux system and allowing to connect. No need to enter any password. By mentioning the username, password, username enter, I am able to establish communication. How? In this PuTTY terminal, in this particular session, PuTTY session authorization key enter. See, I'm going to open again PuTTY terminal. In this PuTTY configuration, IP address is mentioned. Once IP address is mentioned, I'm going to select connection. Under connection, I'm going to choose SSH, expand SSH. Under SSH, auth is there, authorization. Expand authorization, select credentials and click on browse. Whatever the key pair you are downloaded, just select that and click on open. That's it. You are able to log into this particular place. Now I am able to log into this sudo su. And what is sudo su? It is a super user to execute the commands. Okay, going forward next sessions, we are going to install web server configuration on this Linux server, and we are going to configure load balancer, how to access the load balancer by simple high availability for web server by deploying the same configuration on two web servers. Okay, any doubts? We successfully connected Linux instance and Windows instance as well. Two instances are successfully connected. Okay. Now, any doubts, please? Am I audible, guys?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So what are the steps we did? In this console access, in this section, we deployed two instances under compute services, compute under EC2. We are successfully deployed two instances. One is Linux, one is Windows. Okay. Now I'm switching over to North Virginia to other region, Singapore. So am I able to see my instances? You can see 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That means instances, if you are seeing the regional specific, whatever the services you are going to deploy, that services will be visible only in respect to region only. By default, you disconnect the session now. Tomorrow you are going to connect back. And that as per the resource availability, during that time, it is switching over to different region. And you are going to worry about where my instances are available. If you are not going to note down, if you are not going to note down like what reason you connected, what servers where did you deploy, and what are the steps, what name you provided, what security group you created. If you are not going to maintain this notes file, it is very difficult to work. Okay, so please, whatever the action you are going to perform, please document it. And while document it, you are going to mention where to go, how you are going to step, and all those things. Okay, it is a standard operating procedure you are able to understand. First time, second time, you need to follow the recorded session or the note files. Third time onwards, however I perform now, the same way you should be in a position to perform without referring to the document, without referring to the video. That kind of practice you need to gain. Okay, for sure, it is so easy. You are able to understand different configuration steps, how to log in, how to perform. For example, during your practice session, you stuck with some place, not able to move forward. You are no issues. I'm available. You can send a mail communication support at logiclabstech.com by mentioning subject line as batch number. I'm facing this issue. What are the steps you perform? If it is possible, provide a screen capture so that I am in a position to respond to your query. Okay, so it is very much important. Without practice, it is not possible that every technology in the same way. If you learn about other technologies, you need to have a live environment. AWS is providing 12 months live environment. This is a live environment, what you are working. It is not a lab. The same portal, same way of display is available in organization. Whatever the customer, whatever the services they are going to purchase, you are in a position to manage that services by connecting to same console. So it is a live environment. If you practice well, you are in a position to present that you are experienced, and you are in a position to practice well, you are in a position to crack the interview, crack the exam. Okay, practice is most important.
So once we have created the instances, like going forward, you're going to explain like scalability, how to scale, increase, decrease,
Yeah.
availability, and etc. Everything.
Yes, yes.
And what are
Yeah.
the issues we'll get from the customers, troubleshooting.
Yes. Here, we just deployed the services. We understood the way of deployment, how to deploy the server, what are the configuration parameters we need to consider. Okay. Here in the same EC2 dashboard, the next session, next two sessions will be there on EC2 itself. In EC2, it is just a basic we discussed. Under EC2, what all additional things we are going to discuss? Load balancing. Load balancer. What is a load balancer? We are going to configure web server. We are going to install Linux web server on one of the Linux system or Windows system. We can configure web application. Once web application is deployed, in a security group, what additional ports we need to allow? We are updating security group to access the web server. Okay. When the load balancer is going to come into picture, there are 2 web servers are there, 10 web servers are there. So load balancer is going to distribute the packet to one based on the load. That is load balancer. Auto scale, you can see that's auto scale group. What is the auto scale group? Once we deploy instance, once we deploy understand image, we have a snapshot, we have a AMI creation, Amazon machine image creation. From Amazon machine image, how do we create a template? Once template is created, how we are going to configure auto scale? This auto scaling is going to come into picture. This is a minimum size, maximum size. How the scalability, whatever the cloud advantage we discussed about, scalability, one of the biggest advantage. Without thinking about what is the infrastructure readiness, automatically the servers will be added automatically according to the business law. We are going to configure auto scale group. The scale in and scale out. Scale in and scale out is nothing but increasing and decreasing the number of servers. There is another terminology, scale up and scale down. What is a scale up and scale down? Whatever the resources, CPU, memory, storage, network, all those resources can be increased, can be decreased, right sizing. CPU performance issues going to come. We are going to get a requirement from customer that CPU performance is high, my application is running low. Then what? Whatever the resource is having a bottleneck, we need to increase that resource, either CPU or memory or disk or the network. What is the bottleneck? We need to identify. According to that resource, we are going to increase. That comes under scale up, scale down. We are going to discuss all these concepts. Once EC2 is done, then we'll move to storage S3. Once storage is done, we are going to move to networking. So each and everything is in a sequential way. We are going to cover all the topics and make you understand how the infrastructure is going to connect each other in a resource manner, in the infrastructure manner, in the networking way, storage way. What are the requirement? I data for everything. IT infrastructure is nothing but storing the data, accessing the data, executing the data. The data only, it flows between the IT infrastructure. So for everything, we are going to manage data. The data analytics is going to come, different services for analytics. Database is going to come. How do we configure database? How do we configure monitoring? How do we configure backup? Different, everything you are able to implement on your own without having any in-depth knowledge. That is a excellent feature of this cloud technology. Okay. So if you don't have any doubts, so now we successfully deployed. I'm not installing any application now. Next session, we are going to configure, install web server and accessing that web server and creating a multiple web servers through load balancing. All those things we are going to configure. Yeah. So now what is the step we need to follow? As we deployed the instances, the cleanup process, as soon as installation is done, practice is done, every session we need to close. Before closing, should not close, simply close here. No. Whatever the instance, if I leave 2 instances are deployed here, these 2 instances are free tier. Now it is just completed 1 hour for each instance. If I leave these instances as it is, what is going to happen? I'm going to log out. I'm going to connect back maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'm going to connect. What is the use? 24 hours it is going to run. it is going to consume my free utilization of 750 hours. It is going to waste without doing any practice. So what you need to do, whatever the instances are there, I need to select and click on instant state, and I need to click on terminate. It is mandatory before log off. Don't forget. If you forget, what is going to happen? Unnecessarily you are wasting your free tier usage. Okay? It's 750 hours, it is going to waste. So the termination shutdown state is going on. The both instances are disconnected. No problem. Now it is showing terminated. Go back to EC2 dashboard. Now instances are going to terminated. What else I need to clear off? There should be everything 0, 0, 0. Okay. Now key pairs. There are two key pairs are there. I am going to select both key pairs. Click on actions. Delete key pairs. I need to type delete. Delete key pair. Then back to EC2 dashboard. Then next security group. Under security group, I can find two security groups. You should not delete a default one. To avoid unexpected removal of this particular default one, we have an option here. There is a pencil icon is going to come into picture. The default one, you need to click on this pencil icon. See, there is no name associated here. If you click on this name pencil icon, you need to name it as a do not delete or whatever the name. You should not delete. If you delete this default one, what is going to happen? In this particular region, whatever the action you are going to perform, it is not going to work. Okay, so please make sure the security group, as soon as any reason, if you connect EC2 dashboard, by default, one security group will be there. That is a default security group. You should not delete that. Okay, what are the security group you created? I created Linux SG1, I created a Windows SG1, I selected both, and then I'm going to click on actions and delete security group. And then I need to mention delete security groups. That's it. I'm back to EC2 dashboard. I'm going to refresh. I can see that instances running 0, 0, key pair 0, security group by default 1, that is fine. Next section 0, 0, 0, no issues. Here, instead of 0, it is showing as a 2. What is this 2 it is showing? Click on this instances and make sure this instances showing as a terminated. If it is showing as a terminated, your calculation will be stopped. No need to worry about. If it is terminated, this terminated instances will be disappear after some time. You no need to worry about. It is not going to count any billing hours. Okay. So EC2 dashboard, you need to worry about only this section. Under instances, if you find any number, you just click on that and make sure it is showing as a terminated. Instant state should be showing as a terminated, not stop. Okay, we are going to discuss what is a stop, what is a termination difference. Okay, this is all about for today's session. So this is a final demo session. So next Saturday onwards, only whoever completes the payment, they are going to get a separate Zoom link to join the live session. Please go to www.logiclabstech.com and you can find the upcoming batches link in the same portal. Log in with your email ID and select the batch link, payment link. Click on the payment link and proceed to complete the payment. If you are not going to complete the payment, next Zoom link will not be available. You will not be part of live sessions. Okay, this is important to continue this particular course. Any questions before closing for today's sessions?
If you accidentally delete that group, right, default group,
Uh-huh.
what's going to happen?
The default group, if you delete accidentally, for example, security group, yes. See, we created a security group with a certain rule. Now you can see that what is there in this default group. What are the rules are there?
Mm-hmm.
See here, inbound rule, outbound rule. Inbound rule, what is the rule? All traffic. Whatever the rules we are creating, either RDP or SSH like that. By default, if you delete by mistake anything, what you need to do? You need to create a security group with this particular rule. If you don't know what is that all, what is the conditions and all those things, wherever you deleted, switch over to different region, any region. Okay.
Yeah.
There you will find what rules are allowed. Similar
Mm-hmm.
kind of security group you need to create.
Okay.
If
Thank
you are not going to create a security group, what is going to happen? You are whatever the configuration you are going to do, it is not going to work. You are not able to connect RDP. Even if you configure allow RDP port, it is not going to connect. Okay. Without this default, everything is going to halt. Okay. Any questions? If no questions, hope everything is clear. Please do practice. So, and make sure if you want to continue this course, please make sure to complete the payment. How to complete the payment? If you find any difficulties to complete the payment, our support team is available on the mentioned numbers. So you can contact them on the support numbers. This is support at logiclabstech.com, and these phone numbers are available on WhatsApp. You can send messages and you can send the details. And the demo session 1 and demo session 2 will be uploaded to YouTube. Whoever not completed, they can play a YouTube link to understand how the course is going on and all those things. So lot more configuration details are there. We need to discuss lot more. So it is very interesting topic, and everyone, it is a essential skills for everyone, every IT professional. So please learn the skills, enhance your skills to be in the up to market. Yeah. So please, if you are happy, please continue the session by completing the payment. Happy learning. Thank you all. Thanks for joining the sessions. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.